Hello and welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. Thank you for joining me for my daily Bitcoin price action analysis. Hope you're all well and you've enjoyed your weekend. It's the end of another week. And on Bybit, I've got a fair amount to say. So let's just get straight in with the price action analysis. Now, as of yesterday's video, I was talking about potentially comparable weekly candles between this one and the one that's currently forming, with still 8 hours to go. So there's still a little while to go. And the reason for that is, if you look at the CME closure of the same time period, the same week, it indeed went on over the weekend. So that's a Friday. That closed on a Friday evening. It then went on to... That also perfectly filled this gap that occurred on CME, but that's for another video. This weekly candle then, while Bybit was trading on Saturday and Sunday, ended up looking like this for Bybit. So by Sunday midnight, pretty much all of the selling pressure had been rebought. And I was suggesting that something similar to this would look good for range continuation rather than downtrend establishment on a weekly time frame. And well, it's trying. I give it full marks for trying, although I don't know if it's passed this assessment quite yet. So to put a bit more detail on the picture, I'm going to jump down to the lower time frames, but I would just like to point out that the weekly momentum is still very much to the upside. You can see, the bull run technically started here, but actually, if you put a trend line on from the previous all-time high, something like this. It's not entirely accurate. But if you put a trend line on something like that, you can see there was a move up and then some sideways price action. But this was basically the area that started to say that the trend was changing from that of weekly lower highs and indeed lower lows to maybe something different. And that coincided with a cross of the MACD above the zero line on the weekly time frame. Happened over a few weeks, right? So, and ever since then, the MACD's been above the zero line. It flirted with it just once. And the same could be said for the current price. So the current trend even. So when you're doing an uptrend, you do it obviously taking in the lows rather than the highs. Now, it's not quite so easy to draw on, but that's reasonable at the moment. Now, you don't have to have like one trajectory within a move, and there can be multiple trajectories within a move. So, for example, we'll not get into that. There's no point. But yeah, I think the point I'm trying to make here seems to be evading my tiny mind. But the point I'm trying to make in here is that this trend line, as in uptrend on the weekly time frame, can continue to be in place with moves from here significantly south, or consolidation for another significant period of time, and the trend line still holds. So it'll be interesting to see what happens maybe in the next 15 weeks. What? It's just a little gentle reminder that this consolidation period was 31 weeks or something like that, and so far Bitcoin's in 15. Another 15 would sort of bring it into the beginning of October. Ha ha! Who knows? Who knows? Maybe that'll happen. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen at all. But why did I get onto this? Yes, I just wanted to demonstrate the weekly momentum still being to the upside and why I think justifiably using the MACD crossing the zero makes sense to me. It might not make sense to you, and that's absolutely fine. So I can get rid of those trend lines now because I need them no more. 5.5 minutes to describe that. Oof. Drop a comment if you think I need to improve my efficiency. Be offended at all. Now, the daily time frame. Oh, it's been beautifully, what's the word? Defining a range. I had this on yesterday. I took it off again today because I was doing a few other things. But you can see here with a low of basically 60,000, give or take, and a high of basically 62.5. And if you were to take a midpoint of that as almost like a point of reference, or maybe like a turning point of that range, then clearly, where's my midpoint measuring tool? It's probably on this CAN one. Oh, no, just use a measuring tool. Simon, you crazy man. So yeah, the midpoint of that would be 61 and a bit. So call it 61,250. And I would suggest that daily closures below there would signify another move back down towards 60,000. And daily closures below there probably move down to the just this kind of low. And I think that's all we need to talk about for more downside at the moment. Now, as you can see, the MACD has turned up. It's miles away from the zero line, so momentum is still definitely to the downside. And you can see that if I wanted to clutter up my chart with yet another line, I could indeed draw a downside trend line on the daily. That hasn't changed. There's no change in trend. You can clearly see when there's a change in trend. So for this last upside move, it happened just after this pulled back. So here, on this upside move, it happened really here. It happened here. Probably when price action got below that low, then that ceased to be an uptrend and became a downtrend. And then this downtrend ceased to continue when, having made a move up and then a lower high, it failed to make a lower low. And then it was an uptrend, right? So at the moment, the trend is still in place. The trend is your friend, and your friend has downward momentum on the daily time frame. Now the 4 hour, I was talking about this yesterday, the 4 hours making a really, really hard grind MACD up towards the zero line, and it's not a million miles away. But lo and behold, so as the MACD gets close to the zero line, the more relevant this number becomes on the Mighty Caretaker's reverse engineered MACD. And you can see it's 62,500, which is the same. I'm rounding. It's the same of the top of this range. So that says to me, if Bitcoin can close some 4 hour or daily candles back above the top of this mini range that it's got itself into, it's got a reasonable chance of changing the trend, definitely on the 4 hour, but sort of like getting fingertips of an uptrend onto the daily. And then, you know, that's a different look. And it would make sense, being that, you know, Bitcoin's in 15 weeks, $60,000 has only been violated. Not sure that's the right word. On a daily time frame, 2 days. So this candle and this one, because the next one closed back above. So it's an area of support, and you can't argue with that. So we'll see. I think, the 4-hour momentum for me is kind of critical at the moment, and vice versa. If Bitcoin gets back below 61,000, starts to close 4-hour candles below there, then the MACD will probably turn back down from that zero line, having not broken above, and then it's all momentum back to the downside. I'm not saying momentum is to the upside at the moment, but it's trying very hard indeed to do so. And I think it's got a chance. But a chance is not the same as an actuality. And at the moment, even within this range, still a sequence of lower highs. And lower highs all the way back when it wasn't so obviously ranging. Okay, there we are. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. Much appreciate that. And join me tomorrow for Monday, and we'll see where Bybit closes its weekly. Okay, take care. And I'll also be first of the month. I'll have a quick look at the monthly closures too. Take care. Take care. Enjoy what's left of your Sunday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.